Morning, everyone. So, thank you. Let me first congratulate all the organization for this great event. It's an honor for Microsoft to be here, and special with this great panel. I hope you're gonna like. We have very special sessions, very special speakers. So it's gonna be a great time, I hope. So I have the challenge in 5 to 10 minutes to explain the Microsoft vision, the trends, and the future vision of Microsoft for tourism and retail. And I'm going to, in a very quick way, try to synthesize that Microsoft vision. So I'm starting, this is not new for you, for sure, but you know the world has changed. COVID-19, it's only one piece of that change, but there is a lot of change that come and are here to stay. We are seeing a lot of change in the world that will not come back again. For example, the remote and flexible work, the hotels, the people need different workstations, different internet requirements. The travel agencies need to define new travel destinations, and we need to prepare this new way of the work. There is a new term rising, that's the blazer travel. That's a mix between work and personal travel, and all the hospitality and travel companies need to accommodate this kind of requirements. It's different because we are mixing all the reality that it's a new change that we experienced until COVID-19. The increase in demand to sustainably travel, we talked too much about this on the early sessions, and you for sure next 2 days you are still continuing to hear about that, sustainability, corporate social, and this is very important thing, and still will continue to be a great demand and a great pressure on that. Labor and supply chain streamlining is changing too. And you know one thing, the COVID-19, or we can call a new pandemic name, but precautions are still in effect, and it's not a passenger thing, you know. We're gonna have all these precautions every time in place. What Microsoft is looking about disruptive force in retail? We face it, we put it, some of the disruptive force in retail, and this is not new for most of them for you. You know, the China, the e-commerce, the war that is continuing. But there is two special things that I want to highlight here. The first one is customer loyalty. So customer, it's always and more in the center of decision. We want the customer loyalty. We need to learn how to do that in order to grow our business and making customer always the center of decision. The second one, and it's very important, it's about technology. Technology is everywhere, in all places, and we need to learn how to get advantage with this technology and these kind of innovations. What are the top customers engagement trends we are seeing on the last months? And we know this is very important for the next months and years. And when it's metaverse, we're gonna have a special session here at Wheatland. But imagine you can go to a travel agency and you can choose your travel destination, use metaverse. It's amazing. And it's happening, and we need to learn how to get better on that. Second one, the experiential retail. Augmented and virtual reality, it's here. It's changing the way we can do business, and we can going better and better. The e-commerce and super apps. Of course, e-commerce, it's nothing new, but the way the e-commerce and what we call super applications are evolving, it's changing the business. So the business is changing with technology, and we are always evolving with this kind of applications in e-commerce. And of course, digital identity. We have lots of devices are becoming more and more intelligent, and we want to use this digital identity in everywhere. And this is becoming more easy to have contactless and touchless experience. You already use on phones and on device, but this next years it's growing much and much, and it's an area we are exploring more and more and becoming more innovative. Regarding hospitality, what are the top mega trends we are seeing impacting the hospitality? Well, one is competition. It is true that technology is transforming all the business, all the hospitality business, but this is increasing competition too. As business grow with technology, the competition between them are more and more aggressive, and we need to lead with that. Second, it's security, private and trust. Customers are always and always more concerned with security data. You have my data, but I'm concerned with that. And you know, security data, it's not only looking for technology. We need to train our staff. At the hotels, at the travel agencies, at everywhere, the staff need to be training to secure the data of the customers. Employee expectations. On last sections, we talked about millennials, Gen generations, and this kind of generation is different, have different expectations. Hiring and retaining this kind of generations is different, are different asks, different aspects that we need to be careful, and we need to take attention to retain people and train our staff. Guest demands. You know, in Microsoft, we have a special thing that we call hyper-personalization. It's not only personalization that we started to talk some years ago. Now we have hyper-personalization. The guests are expecting to have a special offering just for me and not for my generation or my kind of people. It's specific for me. And this is a great challenge, how to do that. How can I have data and track this kind of information? Technology impacts, it's everywhere. But we are, next years, we're gonna see more and more things doing by robots and artificial intelligence and things like that. And of course, we need to align all this with corporate social responsibility, or what we call sustainability. Okay, I talked about lots of challenge, but how can we deal with that? How can I transform the challenge in opportunities? We know we have more and more challenge, but a great thing is right now we have great technology, more evolved technology, and the best way I can teach you is, or at Microsoft, what we call fail fast, learn faster. So you cannot have afraid to try, explore, and fail. That's the way, that's the path. And we have a great technology at this moment, and you need to try them. Technology, it's available at this moment to everywhere and everyone, and you need to try this one. To not get more time, we are out of time. I'm going to finish with a Microsoft Vision video about the future of hospitality, and I hope you're going to join.
Welcome to Johannesburg International Airport. Please approach the road to create your pickup zone.
Thank you. Have a great event. See you next time.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to talk about the next big revolution with things that will happen in travel for digital, which is Web3 and Metaverse. I'm François Xavier, one of the co-founders of Witland, and we are building the Web3 and Metaverse company for the travel industry. So I'll talk about two things different. First of all, why we should care about Web3 and Metaverse in general, and then to help you to make the decision framework to know why, as a travel brand or destination, or maybe content creator, you should jump on Web3. First of all, we are all in the race of the spatial internet. And it's not only Meta, everybody heard about that, it's also all kind of brands. Nike is on, Starbucks is on, all huge brands are going there, and also travel brands. You might have heard about Marriott, for example, Citizen M, they know that. And why they're going on the spatial internet? Because they're all trying to reach Gen Z consumer. Gen Z, we heard about it a little bit this morning, are now 1/3 of the population in the world. They are, since last year, the first spending power in travel. $32 billion in the US only last year. So we're not talking about the next consumer. We're talking about the consumer that right now. And they, of course, is a shifting generation. They change the way they consume. They change the way so we need to change the way to reach them. First of all, there is a value. You know, authenticity, diversity, sustainability, those are values that Gen Z don't want to not take care of. If you want to reach them, you have to think about that. We heard about that this morning. But also, they're all looking for places in the real life or in the digital life to gather all together. You know, you have bar in the real life, you have, park in the real life. In the digital life, it's a place where they already live, long time in France, 5.5 hours every day. 13 hours a week of gaming for this generation. It's huge. At least make it fun. And this is the way we believe, like some other, that gamification and social place is going to merge together because this generation is looking for that kind of place to meet new people and to gather with their friends and be able to do it with gamification. You know, we're now at the third time, the third party of the internet time. Each generation of web came with a new format. First one with World Wide Web, of course. You know, it's internet sites. And it comes with killer support, website, of course, kind of distribution, of course, in OTAs, for example, on the travel side, and beginning of email and SEO. With Web 2 came with the mobile, and mobile internet completely changed the way you try to reach and engage your consumer. It will be the same with Web 3. With Web 3 came the spatial internet. And spatial internet comes with new formats. New formats to reach people, to have the kind of support, killer support, 3D virtual worlds, and also, the way you distribute. We'll talk about the marketing after that. The interaction goes from read, Web 1, read and write, Web 2, read, write, and own. And this is the game changer of the web, is how to own your digital life. This is really important. Young people, this Gen Z, know that what they do on the digital world have a value. And they don't want that this value get kept by big company anymore. They want to be rewarded for what they do for brands. And this is really something important. So in terms of marketing, everything's changed. In Web 1, you came with your email marketing, of course. It was an instance of SEO. And you still goes on TVs and ads, for example. With Web 2 came with the social media. And social media completely transformed the way. We've got 7 more minutes, guys. It's completely changed the way you try to engage your consumer. And of course, I guess all of you have opened your social network accounts a few years ago. It will be exactly the same with Web3. And we believe that Internet Spatial, as known as Metaverse, of course, is not a big thing. It's just a new format. You will do the same thing, but just in a new format, which is more engaging for this young generation. And with that will come community-led. This is really important. Young people believe in the interaction with humans. That's the reason why they run so much on social network. Because they don't believe in ads anymore. They believe in the human recommendation. And they find that with influencers. And gamification, it's a way to engage better. And this is really important for me. Just for you to understand, with ownership comes NFTs, actually. And there is different way to use NFTs in tourism. Of course, could be just a souvenir. It's not just a souvenir. It's the way you create your digital identity. That's interesting. Second thing, membership. With NFT can come utilities. In the digital world, an experience that, or a content, exclusive content, or in the real world. I've got the NFT of this tourism board. I will get a discount if I go there. I will be rewarded if I'm not the kind of tourist that I spend 1 hour and then left to another place. If I spend 3 days, visit 2 museums, eat in 3 different restaurants. And if you guys want to get this young generation, you have to give value to them. And this is rewarding. This is how you do it with NFTs. Of course, philanthropic. I'll talk about values for this generation. With NFT, there's a way to fund for good experiences. And with blockchain, everyone will be able to check if what you say, you're doing it. Transparency, this is really important. And then raffle, it's more about gamification. So Web3 in travel is a normal evolution. You know, guys, as we said before, travel have always been really impacted by the technology, and always you embrace it. You know, let's think about, you know, we have this person from Expedia. The way OTAs open a new distribution channel for all the tourist actors. At that time, nobody wanted to put their credit card on the internet. Just remember it, just before 2000. Then arrived the social media. You all run on the social media. And why? Because it was an audience there. Now, it's a time for community-led. People want to share things with people who like the same kind of things, wants to discover new places. So we believe that Web3 will help you with the digital ownership, but also with the way you will share your value, the value you create, not only to few platforms, but to all the stakeholders, all the people who create the value, even the travelers. What we think, stop spending a lot of money in digital ads that have no ROI. Start to reward your travelers who go on a sustainable way with you. So we believe that Web3 introduced digital ownership to the internet, and that's open floodgates for creators, brands, and travelers to capture directly the value they create. And this is something that definitely changes things. Just I've got 2 minutes. I'll show you a few things if you want. I'm here to show you demos. But just to explain to you that right now, Metaverse is just another way, a new format of your website. You're doing exactly the same thing. Actually, you're discovering with some content. So we put in the Metaverse, you're here in Paris, some different content, videos, photos, NFTs, whatever, live stream, of course. And this is a place where you can discover. You can transform also, you know. You can have a link, you click on it, and you reserve your experience there. So it's a new distribution channel. And at the end, it's a place where people can meet new friends, can meet their own friends, and have fun. And in the same way as social media, if you're not creating any events, people will come once, but will not come back. So as the way you had community manager a few years ago, you will have Metaverse Manager. It's a new profile that everybody will need it, because I'm telling you, it's not the question of are you going in the spatial internet in the next 3 years. It's not am I going or not, it's when are you going on it. So just to finish, why travel brand and destination should at least test and learn? Because Gen Z wants to be immersed rather than scrolling a website. What Spatialization brings is a way to be proactive in the way you discover. It's completely different than just scrolling and being so passive. Second things, it's your new try before you buy. Of course, you will discover brands or territory through this special internet. And it will be able, it's a chance to enhance, you know, the local culture and the authenticity. Third, it's a new distribution channel. I'll talk about it before, so I think it's obvious. And then it will be the first ones to, we believe that the first one who will try will better know what this new generation are looking for. And you will be much able to answer properly that. If you want to talk about it today or tomorrow, I'll be just here in front of there, and you will be able to test it. Thank you very much.
So, hello everyone. So, congratulations to Nest for organizing this wonderful event. I'm so glad we managed to create this. I mean, to gather this crowd to pay attention to some of the topics that are so important for tourism. I'm really glad I have the last two speakers speaking about the trends, the technological trends, and specifically the vision of the arrival of the third dimension of the web. It's so important, and it's quite inevitable. So I'm just bringing a different perspective. That is, 5G is a new technology. Most of you have heard about it. So it's a disruption in the technology on the connectivity. But it's more than that. It's a sort of a trigger for transformation, for the revolution that all the technologies combined and the changes in the consumer side imply that will happen in quite easily. So, everyone knows tourism has always been facing a lot of disruptions and challenges. You can see about the picture of the tourism in the 16th century was quite different. Only for an elite, for long periods of time, transportation was not the one we are used to. And, you know that everything has changed from that time to now. The thing is that, how different will tourism be, from now onwards? It's more and more tourism is a sort of a mixed reality. It's a mixed reality because you dream about it just before, when you just search for destinations or experiences. But then you just somehow compare these expectations to the reality you experience locally. But it's, just like Francois just shared, I mean, you're expecting reality to be augmented, because I don't know about this building. I really want to know some more information about this building. My eyes are seeing these. I'm feeling the temperature and the environment, but I really want to go a bit deeper into the story of this building, about, I mean, all the activities that are around. And so this sort of the second layer, or an additional layer to the reality, will be needed in the tourism experience. I mean, I'll save you of sharing some statistics. Tourism is more and more important for people and for countries and for destinations. It's a lot of industries around tourism. And my point will be that 5G can be the trigger for this evolution, but I would say for a revolution that will come. If you just think about how the predictions when Web 2 will be shared. I mean, we'll see everyone, or many people, talking about, oh, people can share videos and share pictures. And you just look at it and say, okay, it's useful, but I'm okay. Web 1.0 is okay. I mean, I see some pictures, lousy quality, but I'm okay with that. But the thing is that if we look at the past 10 years, I mean, everything changed. The way we interact, we have social media. It's not a question of video streaming or sharing pictures. It changed the paradigm of interaction between people and brands. And that's what we can announce, that it's Web3 and 5G will bring a disruption. And you ask, oh, can you just please me what will happen and when and by whom? The thing is that we are building this together. And one thing that is important about 5G is that this is a disruption that happens in the world at the same time. So we cannot copy someone in Southeast Asia or in the US or in China that has 5-year experience down the road. You can just copycat. The thing is that this disruption happens more or less at the same time in the world. So everyone is somehow trying to figure out how to handle that. But the thing is that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when and what's the format it will take. My point will be that 5G, standalone 5G is nothing. So connectivity, just for the sake of connectivity, is nothing. The thing is that 5G is the trigger for a lot of technologies that are, let's say, quite here for a long time, I'd say. Is it 5G that will bring artificial intelligence or robots or drones? Or, I mean, no, it's not the point. The point is that this is the tipping point where these technologies will become mature and widespread adopted by businesses and people. And so the tipping point has the characteristic of changing the paradigm instead of just incrementally adding something. So talking about tourism, I would say that, lots of different perspectives, but I think will be a consensus that we'll need more and more connectivity. Destinations will have to fight for compare to some other experiences well and being attractive, but more and more the sustainability trend implies that we cannot just put people, more people per square meter, just building hotels or bringing airlines or bringing cruises. Just to put some pressure on the territories. So there will be, 3 topics I'll cover in 2 minutes. That is, in a way, transportation that is more and more comfortable and able to address the needs of people and the desires of people of traveling and to be as mobile as possible. Then there will be the stay that is, on one hand, more sustainable, but on the other hand, taking more advantage of technology. And the third one being, how can I have a augmented reality that puts me in a much more immersive experience? And so I'll just cover quite, quickly that somehow transportation will take advantage of the autonomous or the connected cars or vehicles. More and more, the optimization of traffic optimization and will get more value for the passenger, but at the same time, more efficient management of the different resources. This is not a question of the future. Autonomous vehicle is not. It does exist already. There's some things on regulation and on the paradigms on insurance or with the responsibility attributed to when you talk about autonomous vehicles. But on the technology side, we are ready. This is already a reality. We have some solutions here of computer vision, taking care of processing video. And from this side, to take information that will allow the places to be better managed, or to take different insights to infer what sort of audiences should we target for. There's a lot of applications on security as well, but this computer vision is a trend that will support a lot of different use cases. But then the augmented reality part, I really believe that the virtual reality and augmented reality, adding a second layer of information that's already available in the internet, but in the specific context of a place, in the specific context of when it is needed, when it is recommended, is something that will change and will bring convenience to the experience and will allow a lot of different experiences to be created. This implies that consumers will be expecting a virtual concierge to be available wherever, before the travel and during. So I'm not expecting to have sort of a service that is on a specific place or in a specific time frame. I'm expecting this virtual assistant to help me everywhere and anytime. And more on the stay. So the buildings, the smart buildings, are increasingly bringing all the best from the sensors to allow the temperature of the room to be adjusted for you. At the same time, the light controls or the interaction with all the services to be as accessible and easy as possible. But then, Nuno just shared the power of data. It's more and more the data generated will allow new value propositions to be created. And it's very important that the tourism sector to take advantage of the big data, or at least of the smart data it generates. And again, and just to finish this part, the virtual reality is the way of allowing people to have a sense, have a glance of the experience they can get. In the end, it's not that different from a site or aggregation of content that someone can interact with before, but it's something that adds to the real experience, let's say. So it's quite easy to interact with this. So for the ones that want to try this, it's not a question of having weird glasses and controls. It's a little smartphone can help you on adding reality and content to the thing you're experiencing directly. So my point is that 5G is the enabler of many of these technologies, And as it is a revolution, a disruption that is synchronized in the world, it's a huge opportunity. So it's a huge opportunity of taking advantage of the things that are already quite mature, but to, give a chance to these trends, or the ones that project the trends, and to see it's not a question of when, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when and how we address that. So thank you very much.
Hello everyone, bom dia, boa tarde. Is everyone still ready for what's coming on? We've talked about technology, we've talked about solutions. I'm very thankful that there is a lot of technology for us to better lives, better tourism. But what we have here to talk about is a word that I took from Roberto's presentation, that was collaboration. If we don't collaborate with each other, we won't be able to evolve and to boost either tourism, either quality of lives in societies, and so on. And this is some of the narrative that I wanted to bring with you and to show you. We have been asked a lot of times to help societies, economies, companies, obviously, to be more sustainable, more resilient, and drive more business, obviously. But we also have been asked from a lot of tourism destinations to also help them to place their city as a product. And in fact, it's what we do. We need to take every city, every destination, every country, every geography as a product. How do we differentiate ourselves? And we took some of these challenges and we tried to streamline them. In the last years, we might say that the pandemic brought a new challenges, but in fact what the pandemic brought with all of us was highlighted some of the challenges that we already had. Because we already had a tourism strategy that was in lack in some parts, talent development also, how we would manage our resources, how we would invest where we should instead of just investing everywhere, how we would pick the business travel different from the leisure travel. So these were not new challenges, but we've brought them together to try to understand how we could get our help. I could name a lot of use cases that we have all over the world where we used our data, our technology, our resources to help those cases. But in fact, if we see, and these are just a few examples that we have around the world, we see that they wanted help in understanding what changed in tourism, obviously post-COVID, but also how is the behavior of tourism. Do we really understand what they want? Do we really understand what they need? How do we drive inbound tourism? How do we make them feel comfortable and pleasant in their new destinations? How do we put our destinations as preferred? That's, in fact, aligning with what I said before. How do we become a product that is interesting enough for everybody to want to buy it? And so we helped creating a priority, allocation resources, and also measuring achievements. This is very, very, very important, because if we want to get investments, if we want to get help for what we need to do, we need to gather resources and investments. And this is something also that is very key, and that is why we still measure a lot of the projects that we do. So how we do it? We streamlined a process that we have been dynamically evolving to make it happen and to make it reasonable. We brought some of the, let's say, the methodology of design thinking. We brought expertise. We brought leaders from different societies. We brought, obviously, the academic world to our table. We bring them all together to talk about what are the challenges, what resources do you have, what do you need, and what is your specific problem. Sometimes there's a specific problem, and sometimes we understand when we start discussing that the problem was not, in fact, what they thought they had. In fact, the problem was another one, because they lacked resources, or they had the right resources, but they were not managing these resources accordingly. And we use data, obviously. So data is obviously the foundation of a lot of what we do. We have a lot of technology to help us to use that data, so obviously transforming data in what nowadays we usually call smart data, as if data was not smart enough. That the data was already smart. We were not using it in the smart way, let's say it. So we've a lot of platforms and solutions to work data in a smart way. But we gather that data that we have, our own data, but also the data from our collaborators and companies, to get more insights that we gather and we mix and we make it valuable. And this brings us to the part that we need to give as an output. Either it can be a tool that we can design and develop from scratch to solve a problem. Either it can be a campaign that we do together. Sometimes we just need to work on a narrative and communicate it together. Or is it a dashboard that we can supply and that we can deliver to the team for them to know exactly what's going on? So there are different ways to solve problems and different ways to tackle the challenges. But most of all, what we realize is that without collaboration, without creating an ecosystem where some of us and part of us are already working together, we will never solve society's problems. We cannot only say that we need to have better hospitality or better tourism. We say a lot in Portugal that we needed better tourism. We needed to be more sophisticated in our tourism. We needed to attract that more sophisticated tourism with our own resources. And so this is something that we've been working together. Some of the ideas and activities that we've been doing throughout the last years, as I told you, we've designed tools for sustainability measurements, for instance. This is something that probably most of you feel that more and more cities are looking towards being more sustainable, not only being more sustainable, but at the same time measuring how they are more sustainable. This is something also that the tourism is aiming for. We know that it's part of their checklist. I want to be in a destination that is taking care of the planet also. So this is something that is very interesting, so we designed tools for that. We also prepared narratives to help local hospitalities to know how to greet and welcome the tourism accordingly. We understand, and in Portugal we know that SMEs are the backbone of the economy. We know that sometimes we need to help them welcoming our tourism. So sometimes it's not that they don't know how to welcome, but they need to learn how to be more sophisticated, or they need to learn how to mark their businesses, how to communicate, how to make them their own highlighted in between each other. So there are a lot of things that we can do to help and to work together. We can work towards large company. We can work towards a specific destination. And in tourism, it's in fact, it depends a lot on what are the objectives. We couldn't be here without bringing one of our very happy cases. So we were challenged by Nest, and I'm very happy to be here today to talk also about it. So Nest, which is in fact today should be congratulated for organizing this great event. Challenges to help to tangle the bureaucratic and logistic problems of check-ins. It was very painful sometimes, so how we could help. And in fact, we used our methodology in 2021 to develop what was called ID Fast Track. It was a prototype that was designed together to tackle this problem. And this is just an example. Obviously, I couldn't bring an example from another country when we have such an amazing project that we did with Nest to tackle this problem.
Amazing minds working together.
Trust the process, definitely.
I want to do it again.
you should all be councils and people for us to keep on recurring to on the development of this project. So somehow we have to find a methodology on which this group gets reunited to talk about, you know, of the steps on which this idea and this project will take.
Together with the MasterCard team, it was amazing. It was super intense, but I think the outcome is really amazing. Like Miguel was saying, I think we have a solution here that has feet to walk.
Has been giving me strength and inspiration, and for me, I'm so inspired by the end of the week. I'm tired, yes, but I could go on like, you know, just go. I love it, yeah. It was great work.
From a personal point of view, I always feel that I learn so much when I have these intense weeks of work. I always learn with each and any one of you on how to think differently, on how to approach something that I'm stuck in, you know, on how to get creativity, or even how to manage time. Thank you very much.
The ID Fast Track prototype is being piloted in this year, and we are very proud to see a product that was designed and that was brought from the team of Nest with MasterCard team to the reality to solve a specific problem. So I don't want it to do a lot of talk about tech per se, because as I've mentioned before, technology for the technology doesn't solve a problem. What we do with it solves problems and creates the opportunities. But obviously, we have been working on a lot of platforms and services that are available to be used either for private companies, public companies, cities, countries, geographies, to support tourism challenges. Tomorrow, I hope you can all be here to see Natalia's presentation, and she will do a real, she will go through one of the platforms in real time to show you the capabilities of the platform, so what we can do and the insights that we can bring from that. Because obviously, data is a very powerful thing that we have at MasterCard, but more than that, we also have some of the other capabilities that we've brought into our network to make us stronger offering our services for tourism. Either it's benefits and also opportunities that we can offer tourism and everyone that is becoming a tourism traveling around cities. Not the less, I wanted also to say that we have been working a lot, and this is something that I know that will be part of the program that we have today, sustainability, health, and how to make destinations differentiated themselves in between. To end, because we have been investing so much in tourism, we launched last year a global tourism hub, where Nest is one of the key speakers and needs to share their experience and their knowledge, because they have a long series of projects developed that they can share with our team. It's a global innovation hub designed for tourism, where we can transform, inspire, connect, and co-create. So this is an open tourism hub to allow either companies, either geographies, to knock on our door and ask for help, and to see how we can help and work together. And this is what I wanted to bring you today. And congrats again, Nest, for investing and boosting tourism. We really need to make tourism in Portugal even more sophisticated than it is today, and you are part of it. It wouldn't be the same without Nest in Portugal. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so before you can smash the buffet and get some food, I will be the last one. Thanks to Nest for bringing us here in a beautiful landscape in Portugal. So I'm part of Visionbox, a Portuguese company, a success story. 20 years ago, we were a very small startup. 10 years ago, we revolutionized how we use our identity and our face at the border. And the last 6-7 years, we expanded our vision at the border into the entire travel journey. So I'm going to give you a quick notion about how a Portuguese startup is transforming the world of travel. We are a B2B player, but we address many channels that will support the B2B to C, meaning the tourists, the citizen, people moving from place to place around the globe. So to date, we have done an amazing job. I joined 10 years ago, we were 70 people. Now we are 500 plus in 11 subsidiaries around the world, serving more than 100 airports, 50 governments, and processing pre-COVID 700 million people every year at different moments of their travel journey. What we are trying to solve is this: how many times as a traveler we need to prove who we are, showing a passport, showing a credit card, showing a certificate, showing a boarding pass, a ticket of the parking. We want to digitalize everything where maybe our face, maybe our fingers, our iris can become a token for us to exchange with different parties, public and private. What is important is it needs to be trusted and it needs to respect our privacy and our private data. And it's a complex world. As you saw, public, private sector, governments, airlines, travel agents, crews. We are dealing with all those parties every day, and we are not selling. We are trying to bring people together around a single focus, which is us, a consumer, a traveler, a tourist. What do I get if I give you a bit more information? If I give you my name or my date of birth or my credit card number, do I need to share each and every time, or can I use my mobile phone and choose what I want to trade for something in return? And that will help my journey. If I'm happy, I'm spending more money, and it's valid for the economy. As you saw, GDP, tourism is 10% of the overall GDP worldwide. So we are playing every day and dealing with all those stakeholders to help facilitate the process. How do we do that? We have created hardware and software capability out of the minds of our two founders, who are Portuguese scientists, the capacity to automate processes using biometrics. After 9/11, the US imposed to have a face in the chip of the passport, and where everybody thought, no, it's fingerprints, it's iris. No, here we said, no, it's face. Everybody will use the face. Normally, you don't lose your face, or if you lose it, that we are not here anymore. I can still judge if it's you or not. If you show me a fingerprint, I have no clue. And the technology evolved substantially with artificial intelligence and machine learning to make it scalable, to make it trustable. Around that, we have wrapped a software platform that can orchestrate the process. We see the travel journey has a musical melody. It has to be pleasant. It has to be harmonious. There are many instruments to deal with, so it needs to be orchestrated. From the comfort of my home down to destination, through an airport, through a cruise terminal, how do we generate this ecosystem? And that's for people who understand those benefits. So it's a lot about communication, enablement of people that they are not afraid to share biometrics. Is it that so precious when actually all our lives are over Instagram, Facebook, Google? Everybody knows everybody already. Why should I be ashamed of sharing my face? And the selfie practice has evolved substantially to help us resolving this. But in the first place, we want to choose. If I don't want to share my data, I won't. If I want, I will get a benefit. And that's the vision of an airport, where we cover all the different steps, all the pain points. I need to go through security. I need to go at the border. Am I eligible to travel? Do I have the right certificate? Do I have the right visa? So how can I do that without having the pain of waiting, maybe losing the flight, how the airline is aware that the border control authority needs to talk to me for 2 hours, so they unload my luggage, so you are happy you don't wait for me on the plane. All this orchestration needs to happen, and that's why we are trying to solve by delivering solutions. And these are 10 years of very hard work developing a network of key customers, governments, airlines, airports, that we try to align together. What is the mission of a government? To secure the border. What is the mission of the airline? To deliver 5-6% profit and a good net promoter score. The airport needs to make maximum usage of the square meters, not building more infrastructure and doing more with less. How we accommodate this? It's by building human-centric solutions, because the most unpredictable part is ourselves. I may behave in a way, another culture, another age, another background in education may behave differently. How do we create an ecosystem where, independently of those characteristics, I will deliver a consistent experience and being happy? We have customers who want to cross the border in second time in the country because they liked it. Normally, it's not something you want to do. It's very stressful. And it's all around biometrics, unique characteristics. So we need to create an environment where, independently of the light here of the building, my height, any limitations I may have, so we need to be inclusive, we create conditions to be consistent. The technology in Portugal you have in your passport is captured by Vision-Box, actually. Face, fingerprint, etc. So we are delivering this adaptability to the human factor. Next to that, we leverage on the platform we built, which is called Orchestra, in the border control space and in the travel space. And from end to end, we can pick and choose different tools to build the journey of your customers in partnership. From mobile enrollment, we provide something that could work with a MasterCard wallet, using Noj and 5G, and everything hosted on Azure in Microsoft, and you can start to enable the journey by using those tools and enablers. And then when you reach the facility, the airport, crossing kiosk, e-gates, you don't need to show a passport anymore, you don't need to read your boarding pass, your face is the token for you to cross the entire infrastructure without touching anything, and in record time. It will also not kill job, it will rehumanize the relationship between people. The customer service will be enabled for people that are really in need of special assistance, while people that want to go by themselves, they can just go through. Every 1% of more happiness on the customer side is 1.5% more revenue in an airport, for example. So that's the whole journey we can cover, and I will accelerate to move into case studies, practical example, because it's not just piloting anymore. We have been doing more than 50 pilots the last 7 years in different environments. Now we are scaling up programs in major places, as you will see. A very important element, privacy by design. We have spent 2 years of our life to certify the company and the platform to be transparent, to be secured, to avoid data breaches, and to be compliant with GDPR, but also any other data privacy scheme worldwide, to make sure that we as citizens, we feel safe, that our data is secured, and that every time I don't want to be anymore in that experience, I just opt out and I make sure that my data is with me, not anymore spread around on the market. Once you have those pillars, those foundations, these are key elements to scale. Otherwise, we step the level of the pilot. Then we move into reality. So we have all those stakeholders, the carrier, the airport, the traveler, the border control authority, the government. What are the benefits? What are the business cases? Why a government should invest in the technology? Why the airport should do it as well? How do I make a return? How do I secure my borders? Less people, less staffing capability. What is the technology good for? To control risk, and all the good people, they can go by themselves. The airline needs to be on time, to have maximum rotation, on-time departures. How do we facilitate this? And the airport, again, they cannot build endless capacity. We need to do more with less. So here we have the example of a major airline, one of the most knowledgeable and known luxury, if I can say, airline in the world, Emirates. Throughout COVID, they understood that actually they could differentiate and accelerate the implementation of the joint program we have with them. And now we are deploying at scale the entire Terminal 3 in Dubai, where from check-in to security, to lounge entrance, to border control, and finally boarding the plane, you just need your face. You don't need to show anything anymore. And next stage is to move into the Emirates app, so we can enable it not just in Dubai, but from any airport they operate at. Some KPIs, the adoption rate is there. We as people, we are keen to do it, to participate, to engage. And We are even connected from Dubai, for example, to the US government, that any flight departing from Dubai pre-clears your border control crossing in the US. So that's already about cross-collaboration, interoperability. I have the same experience moving from place to place. I don't need to worry about it. Next to that, Asia Pacific is moving bombastic post-pandemic into growing the technology and the solutions. Here we are at MHB, Kuala Lumpur. We deployed the solution in less than a year. We are growing the number of airlines adopting it, but you can, from check-in at home, on-site, through baggage, through security and boarding, just use your face. And you can see here, this is about crossing security. We are then boarding the plane. And here the beauty is that they are sharing data with some airlines. When we started to discuss with them, say, no way we will share data. Airline, the passenger is mine. The airport, well, yeah, but we would like to know more. And they know more with this. So then the airline has an interest to understand, where are my passengers in the airport? And we create that orchestration capability with the platform. Meaning, next program, full mobile AirAsia, the biggest low-cost carrier in the Asia-Pacific region. And the founder, Tony Fernandez, is a visionary. He's the kind of Richard Branson of Asia. And he says, I want to give services to populations. I want to provide benefits with my super app. So everything is around the app. And by the way, it has an airline that operates in 136 locations. So we built the whole digital onboarding into the app. You can enroll, consume your identity, and then at the airport, everywhere AirAsia is there, you can use your face to cross the different steps at the airport. To date, after a few months of operation, we already have 4 million users, and it's growing every day. It's capable of addressing the 100 million travelers they have, moving into 136 airports. The challenge here is that the airline doesn't own the infrastructure. Every gate you board the plane to is different. So we built also physical capability on wheels, on 5G, on battery, to have no gates, no kiosk, just mobile elements that you put at the gate, people board just looking at it, and for the next flight you move to your next gate. So it's about also providing that mobility on the ground. Not to pay $45 per socket every month to the airport to connect something as well. They want that independence. India, the biggest country biometrically speaking. They have a database of 1-2 billion records of their citizens. Pre-COVID, 25% domestic growth every year in the airport. They are building 70 airports right now. How do we facilitate the journey of the Indian population? Generating the same kind of capability, using the strong identity schema in the country. And last but not least, very recently, in Mexico, Mexico is very crowded. It's a megalopole and a mega country. The president had 3 projects: a new airport, a new oil refinery, and train. And he wanted, obviously, to leave legacy. So in 18 months, they built an airport for 30 million people, 7,000 workers day and night, with the word on the wall, we will accomplish the mission. And they did. We were awarded in July 2021. In March 22, we were going live at the airport with all the airlines and the entire experience, including mobile, security, check-in, lounge, boarding, just using face. And it's already actually Biden, Trudeau, just landed in this airport a few days ago, and they used our solution. It was quite amazing. So it's going fast. It's not anymore about thinking about it and we start to test. You have the technology, we have use cases. It's about the business case and what you want to deliver back to society to sustain tourism while you secure the borders. And I can go on and on. There are more cases. I don't want to, again, take you away from lunch too long, but this is happening everywhere. We have a big pipeline right now, and even in Portugal, obviously, where we started, we are working with Nest on different initiatives that hopefully you will be able to experiment soon in some of the Portuguese airports. We're already at the border, but there is more to come. And that's a nice conclusion video-wise to provide this orchestration, harmony, melody to the travel journey. That's in Uruguay, small airports. smart people. And that's a nice metaphor. Et voilà. Thank you very much. Have a nice lunch. Hope you enjoyed the trip. And that's it.